everyone, it's me. I'm doing a vlog actually, that's not in the middle of the woods for a change. I'm sitting on my back porch and I'm turned around so that you can see the view that I see most nights when I eat dinner out here. Just of my little corner lot, where I can see a few trees and some birds and hear my wind chimes going and the traffic going by. But what I wanted to talk about tonight was something that really just struck me today. I heard a song earlier today and I tried to find what song it is, and it doesn't really matter, because the point is that the song was all about how things go wrong and we have one of those days where everything's going wrong, and then something happens and we see how God was behind it all. And maybe it's because I'm 51, or maybe I've just had a different kind of life, but for whatever reason, I thought, oh, maybe some people have life that makes sense every day like that, where you see what went wrong, or you see the challenges and you're able to see the purpose and the plan in it. And I've definitely had those moments where that happened, but it's not quite as clean cut as the song made it out to be. It was almost kind of like a Hallmark movie type mindset. And there's nothing wrong with that. I like my Hallmark movies, but it's just not that clean cut. And I think sometimes we can have faith struggles because we're thinking that it should be that way. We're thinking that we get stopped in traffic and we're late to work and our boss is mad at us, but then we find out that there was a huge wreck 3 lots down that we were saved from, and then that makes sense. But when we don't find out that there was that wreck and it doesn't make sense, we don't know what to do and we throw up our hands. There's bigger things too. There's diagnosis of deaths of kids. There's hurricanes that hit the poorest part of a state. There's dementia that we walk through. There's all kinds of things that just we know and we trust that God has a big purpose for, but we may not see it. And when we live our faith life expecting that we're going to see those results, those purposes, those bigger pictures, and we don't, sometimes we don't know what to do about it. So I just really want to encourage us tonight. What's really been on my heart all day is that faith and life is just a lot messier than that. And sometimes we just have to keep walking with Jesus, even when we know that we don't get the answer here. Because we know ultimately we will see the big picture of things when we have that eternal perspective. But we absolutely have to let go of the idea that we're going to understand it all here. We may get glimpses, and there may be times where it makes sense, but it can't be what we depend on. And then on the way home, as I was thinking about this throughout the day, on the way home, I heard another song, and I thought, you know what? That is where I'm learning, I guess, more accurately, to put my focus. And it's the song by Zach Williams and Dolly Parton, There Was Jesus. And it's just a beautiful song that basically says, whenever I did wrong, whenever I came to the end of my road, whatever happened, whatever I did, whatever way I turned, there was Jesus. And I love that because it makes me think of Job when he said, you're behind me, you're before me, you're beside me, you're to the left of me. And in Job's context, it was almost like he was trying to get away from God, but he couldn't because he was going through this deep struggling time. And sometimes I've definitely felt that way, but then there are other times where it's the most comforting thing in the world. And I just want to encourage us all that with messy faith, like mine, like yours probably is, that what we're really looking for is not so much answers. We're not really looking for being able to wrap our minds around the why, although we can still ask it. I'm a huge believer in asking questions. Y'all know that by now. But what we really are looking for is Jesus. And at the end of the day, when we know that he was there, even when we don't understand everything else, that is enough. It has to be enough because He's enough. And sometimes that's what He's just wanting us to learn. And sometimes when we get that, we get other answers after that. And sometimes we don't, and that's okay too. We can keep asking the questions. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But I just don't want my faith to hinge upon understanding something that may be completely beyond me for now. I want my faith to hinge upon being able to say, when I didn't know what to do, there was Jesus. When I was bent over the counter in my kitchen with just physical pain and the worst tears I've ever had in my life, the day my husband died, there was Jesus. When I go out in the middle of the woods and I see a beautiful waterfall and I enjoy nature, there was Jesus. And I think that's what we have to do. There's always going to be pulls, and it's called idolatry, that takes our eyes off of Him and puts our eyes on something else. But when we keep bringing our eyes back to Him and getting rid of those other things, those other idols, those other things that could replace Him in our lives and in our hearts, at the end of it all, there was Jesus. And that's all that really matters. And that's what was on my heart to say tonight. Have a good day.